Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Knitting for Baby. Thank you for watching and thank you for subscribing. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to knit this little hat for a baby from 0 to 3 months. Now in the same tutorial, I also show you how to knit this one here. This one is for 3 to 6 months size and they're both very easy to make. Okay, so let's get started and thank you for watching. Okay, to begin, I'll be using these 5mm knitting needles, and today I'm using this medium number 4 yarn. I'm using yarn B, soft and slick. This is a medium number 4 yarn, and I'm using this light blue color. To make the 3 to 6 months size, I used the pink color in the same yarn brand. Now, the first thing that we need to do is we need to cast on our stitches. So I'm going to show you how to cast on your stitches using the long tail cast on. So here, to begin, for the 0 to 3 months size, we need to cast on 54 stitches. If you're making it bigger for 3 to 6 months, then you need to cast on 62 stitches. So we're going to cast on 54 for the 0 to 3 month size. So to cast on your stitches using the long tail cast on, we need to determine how much yarn we need to leave for our long tail. So what I like to do is I like to wrap my yarn around like this 20 times. You can do 10 times or you can do 20. I like to do 20. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So here we have enough yarn for about 20 stitches. So if we double it up, that's 40. And if we double it up again, that's 60. Now I need 52, so I'm just going to leave it like this. I'm probably going to have a nice long tail left, but that's okay. So if you're doing 62, then I would do the 60 like this and maybe a little bit more. So for me, I'm just going to do it like this and maybe a little bit less. So right about there. Now we're going to make a slip knot here like this. And we're going to put this yarn here on this side, and this here is coming from the skein. Now insert both needles through this loop. Now we're going to insert both needles because the first row is always the hardest. When you do it this way, your stitch is bigger and you have a nice and loose beginning row here, so which is what we need for these hats. So now we're going to insert our finger like this through the middle, open up your yarn, and we're going to go from left to right. And we're going to grab a loop like this. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on. You're going to continue until you have 54 stitches on your needles. If you're making it for 3 to 6 months size, then until you have 62. Continue, and I'll meet you once this part here is done to show you what we need to do next. Okay, I finished casting on 54 stitches, and this is all the yarn that I had left, so you may want to leave a little tiny more just in case. So here we're just going to tie a little knot here, and we're going to remove one of the needles. So gently pull one of them like this. And now we have our 54 stitches. If you're making it for 3 to 6 months, then you should have 62. So now what we're going to do here for the first row is I'm going to knit the first stitch, and then I'm going to purl the next 2. Knit the next 2. Purl the next 2. Knit the next 2. Purl the next 2. This is all I'm going to do all the way to the end. Now at the end we're going to have 1 stitch left, and that one last stitch we are going to always purl. I have 2 border stitches here, the first stitch we're always going to slip from here on, and the last stitch we're always going to purl. Now continue like this for this first row, knit 2, purl 2, all the way to the end. So I'll meet you at the end of this first row. I'm here at the end of this first row. These last 2 stitches here I knit, so this one here at the end we are always going to purl. Now this is the first row. Now we're going to turn for the second row, and we're going to repeat the same thing. Now from here on, we're always going to slip the first stitch like this, and we're going to purl the next 2. 1 and 2, and we're going to knit the next 2. Purl 2, knit 2. And that's all we're going to do. Always knit 2, purl 2, and so on. Continue to the end of this second row. At the end of this second row, remember the last stitch, we are going to purl. Okay, continue and I'll meet you at the end. I'm here at the end of the second row. Remember this last stitch, we always purl. Now turn for the third row, and from here on, this is all we're going to repeat, the exact same thing. We're going to do this for the 0 to 3 months size until we have 40 rows. For the 3 to 6 month size, you're going to do it until about 44 rows. So here, again, we're going to slip the first stitch like this, and we're going to purl the next 2 stitches. Knit the next 2, purl the next 2, knit the next 2, purl the next 2. Knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, all the way to the very end. Now remember that once you get here to the end, this last stitch you're going to purl always, then you're going to turn, slip the first stitch, and then repeat the same thing for every row. Now continue like this, repeating this same row until you have 40 rows for the 0 to 3 month size. Or for 3 to 6 months, you're going to do 44 rows. So continue, and I'll meet you at the end of the 40th row. Okay, I finished making 40 rows, and it's measuring about 18 centimeters, which is about 7 inches. Now, for the 3 to 6 months size, I did 46 rows. I had forgotten that I had done 46 rows. So if you did 44, or if you want to add 2 more, it's okay. With 46 rows, the 3 to 6 months size, it should be measuring about 8 inches or about 20.5 centimeters at this point. So now we're going to continue, and we're going to reduce for the next 3 rows. So here, to do the reduction, what I'm going to do is we're going to slip the first stitch, and I'm going to purl the next 2 stitches, and the next 2 I'm going to knit together like this. These are actually the 2 knit stitches, so I'm going to knit 2 together here. So the purls we're going to purl, and then the 2 knit stitches here, 1 and 2, we're going to knit 2 together like this. Now purl, and then knit 2 together. This is how I'm going to continue for this row, so continue and I'll meet you at the end. I'm here at the end of this first row reduction. The last stitch here, I'm going to purl. Now turn, and we're going to go back, and we're going to slip the first stitch. I'm going to purl the next stitch, and I'm going to knit the next 2. So purl, and then knit 2. Purl, and knit 2. Continue like this for this row, and I'll meet you at the end. I'm here at the end, this last stitch, I am going to purl. And this is how I finish the second row. Now for the third row of reductions, we're going to turn here. Now for this third row, slip the first stitch and we're going to purl the next 2 stitches together. Now knit the next stitch and then purl the next 2. Knit and then purl 2 together. Knit, purl 2 together. Knit, purl 2 together. Continue like this all the way to the end. I'm here at the end of the third row. The last stitch we always purl. Now this is what it looks like. Now we're going to reduce one more time. If you want to leave it like this, is fine, we can close, but I just want to reduce more stitches here at the top. So I'm going to turn here, and the first stitch we're going to slip, and here I am going to purl 2 together across like this. Purl 2 together and then purl 2 together, purl 2 together, and so on to the last stitch. Okay, so continue and I'll meet you at the end of this last row. Okay, I'm here at the end of this last row, so the last stitch here I'm just going to purl, and this part here is done. Now cut your yarn, make sure you leave a long tail. So we're going to turn this over like this, and we're going to close the top of the hat first. So just insert your thread through your needle, and we're going to remove these stitches from our needle like this. Okay, now pull your yarn through, hold this here, hold a loop here. Don't pull it all the way, because what we're going to do is we're going to leave a nice loop here to tie this. I like to do it like this. If you want to just pull it all the way and just weave it around, that's fine. I'm just going to tie a knot here. Now, I think that looks better. Now tie another knot so that it's nice and secured. Perfect, so the top of the hat is closed now. Now what we're going to do is we're going to seam this part here. So I am going to seam my my hat like this. So this is the right side. So now we're going to go from one side to the other. So right now my yarn is on the right side. So we're going to find the first stitch here on the left side. Now, as we were slipping each one of the stitches, we were leaving these V stitches on the very edge. You can see it right there. So right next to it, right here to the side, you'll see this bar in between each row. So that's where I'm going to be inserting my needle for each side. And make sure that each side corresponds with the right row. So this would be my last row right here. So I'm going to insert my needle through there and then find the next row here, and right to the side you'll see that stitch. So insert your needle there, find the next row, and you're just going to work your way down doing the exact same thing for each one of the rows like this. And that's how I'm going to close my hat. So continue like this all the way to the bottom, and I will meet you there to show you what we need to do next. Okay, I'm here at the end. I finished closing this part here, so all you do now is just pull your yarn, and as you can see, it's starting to close and you can barely see where we did our seam. Now pull this like this so it's not too too tight here. Nice and loose. And that's what it looks like. Perfect. Now, here at the bottom, we're going to reinforce these last 2 stitches. So I'm going to insert my needle through there and through the first row here, right to the side. And we're going to make like an 8. So we're going to go this way and then come back the other way, like this. And now it's nice and secured. And I think that looks pretty good. Now we're just going to hide our ends. I'm going to do one more stitch here. Perfect. Now we're just going to hide our remaining yarn. You can do this from the inside. I just like to go right here to the side, in and out. Like this, and then come back and then go back again. And that should keep it nice and secured, whatever remaining yarn you have. Come back down and just cut your yarn. Perfect. And here's our finished little hat. That's what it looks like. Now I still have this here, this yarn, so I'm going to finish weaving this so that I can show you the finished hat. Here's the finished little hat. That's what it looks like, and that's the top. This is the inside. It's a reversible stitch, so if you don't want this here, just weave it around and it should look nice too. There it is. Now, let me try it on my little model here so that you can see what it looks like. Now, my baby doll's head circumference, this one is about, let's see, 14 inches, which is about 35.5 centimeters. So this would be 0 to 3 month size. So let's try it on him, see what it looks like. Perfect. Look at that. Now let me show you the same hat on the newborn baby doll. Now her head circumference is about 13 inches, which is the an average newborn head size, maybe a tiny bit big, but I'd say that it should still work. If you fold it up a bit more, that's what it would look like on a newborn baby. So you can do it in the same way, just do less rows and it should work for a baby, a newborn baby. That's what it looks like. There it is. Now let me show you this one here on my 3 to 6 month size baby doll. This one here. Let's see. Now to close this hat, you would do it in the same way, and the reductions also in the same way. There it is. That's what it looks like on her, the 3 to 6 month size. This one here I did 46 rows, and as you can see, it's a tiny bit long. So if you prefer to do it where it's not as long, then only do maybe 44 rows and it should work out nicely too. And there it is. So the 3 to 6 months size, and then the 0 to 3 months size on my newborn doll, or on the 0 to 3 month size baby boy. There it is. I think it looks so cute. Look at that. I love it. And it was so easy to make. So this was today's tutorial. I hope you like it. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.